Welcome to Mike Graham's Heaven and Hell. I'm obviously not Mike Graham, he'll be back next week, so stand by for a sparkling edition of Kevin and Hell. War in the Middle East. The best part of 2 weeks ago, Hamas, the terrorist organisation, invaded Israel. Grotesque atrocities ensued. Babies were beheaded, women were indiscriminately raped, innocent citizens were executed on their doorsteps, and 260 young people enjoying a pop concert were cut down in a hail of bullets. The atrocities are appalling. They were deliberately appalling to provoke Israel into a strong response, and that we have seen. They had to defend their people. No country on the face of the earth could suffer this and not do something about it. Imagine if that happened to Britain. Imagine if foreign terrorists invaded this country and killed 1,400, 1,500 of our citizens. We've already seen what you could describe as genocide in Israel. Hamas committed genocide. It was the worst slaughter, the worst massacre of Jewish people since the Holocaust. You can understand why Israel is so furious, but the hell of this is that there's no solution in sight. The idea that peace can ever reign in this turbulent region is a serious long shot. Unless Israel ceases to exist, these people will never ever stop. I can see no solution ever, and this is always going to happen. And I hardly know what to say. So our heart goes out to the people of Israel, to the people of the Gaza Strip, because Hamas are not Palestinians. That's the point. Palestinians are like the rest of us. They're just trying to get by. They're not all fanatical terrorist lunatics. Far from it. They're mostly normal people just trying to feed their kids and put a roof over their heads. They've been all drawn into this. Israel is furious. These people are suffering. Hamas are stirring the honey or the pot. They want to stir up the hornet's nest and make sure that peace never breaks out. And standing in the wings, hovering over this like a dark, dark cloud, is Iran. They're funding Hamas, they're funding Hezbollah up in Lebanon in the north. And as long as Iran has this attitude, we're never going to see peace. Trouble for Thunberg. While the world waited with bated breath about what might happen in the Middle East, Greta Thunberg and her mates gathered outside the Intercontinental Hotel in Park Lane, one of the posh areas of London, to protest, because inside the hotel was a bunch of oil executives meeting for some sort of conflab. This was a group, or Greta was leading a new group. They were called Fossil Free London. But really, really, Greta, read the room. Nobody cares about that right now. The climate change emergency is your obsession, not ours. We've got more important things to worry about. She was arrested, charged with a public order offence. She'll love that. But, you know, Greta, give it up. No one cares anymore, and we're bored of you. Greta Thunberg, arrested and carted off by the cops. That's my idea of heaven. Richard Curtis and the Joke Police. Richard Curtis, we're told, is our finest film creative voice. He's a director, writer, responsible for such films as 4 Weddings and a Funeral, Notting Hill, and of course The Dreadful Love Actually. He's made some decent films. There are criticisms of them. They were made a long time ago. His daughter Scarlett, who's a screenplay writer apparently, she took her dad aside and said, Dad, you made fat jokes in Bridget Jones and you must never do that again. Really? Do we need the joke police telling us what we can and cannot say, what is and isn't funny? You know, I think we should be able to make fat jokes. In fact, I fully intend to carry on making fat jokes, if only to off Scarlett Curtis. The only criterion for a joke should be this: is it funny? And if it isn't, don't make it. And if it is, by all means, crack that joke. I can sign Richard Curtis and his daughter Scarlet, to hell. Good morning, Miss Robot. There's a school in West Sussex called Cottesmore School. It's a private boarding school where the male headmaster has hired a new deputy. That is Ms. Bailey. The difference between the male headmaster and Ms. Bailey is that Ms. Bailey is not human. Ms. Bailey is a robot, an AI robot. And she is going to be, I mean, I say she, it is going to be responsible for teaching the kids, for taking assembly, and so on and so forth. Quite how this is going to work, I don't know, but I'm told this is the future of education. While we reel back in shock at the idea of our kids at any school being taught by a robot, that, ladies and gentlemen, is the future. And frankly, the good thing about robots is they don't go on strike. They don't fuck off as soon as there's a COVID crisis to leave their kids to fend for themselves for 2 years. So perhaps Ms. Bailey and her AI robot teacher colleagues will improve the education system, the rubbish education system. So for that reason, I'm going to put Ms. Bailey into heaven. Cause for alarm, it's a wake-up call. It turns out that the snooze system is very good for you. Stockholm University has established this in an extensive study. So if you're a snoozer, you're not a loser. It is the way forward. So perhaps I'll have to adapt my way of life and start snoozing. And when you're snoozing, you're not losing, you're in heaven. That's it for this edition of Heaven and Hell. Goodbye. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.